Most realtors really struggle with overcoming the fear of rejection because it doesn't matter how you approach your business, whether it be through cold calling or door knocking the traditional way where you're fearful of getting rejected on the phone or at the door, or if you just approach your business in a traditional way, you're fearful of following up with your sphere to get a negative answer, or you're fearful of putting out videos and getting rejected by your peers. A lot of people really struggle with this concept of rejection. So what I want to do in this video is help you understand how to not only get over the fear of rejection, but how to reframe your thinking so that you have a different approach to understanding why rejection is actually happening and what you can do in order to resolve it. What's up, guys? My name is Mike Sherrard with eXp Realty. I train thousands of agents every year to scale their business the modern way with social media. However, in the beginning, I actually built my business with door knocking. So I've got a lot of experience with handling the fear of getting rejected because for the first 6 months as a licensed agent, I door knocked 3 hours a day, 7 days a week straight in the snow, in the rain, when it was hot out, in all types of weather conditions. So I've been around the block, I've been there firsthand, and I know what it's like. So first, let me explain why so many people struggle with rejection in the first place. And that comes down to the concept that everybody takes it personally, right? If you knock on a door and somebody yells at you or swears at you or slams at the door, the biggest struggle people have and what leads to this fear of getting rejected is that they take it personally. Or if somebody slams the phone on you and hangs up, or, sends you a stupid message after you make a video or something like that. Any form of rejection, one of the main reasons why people struggle with that is because they always take it personally. They always think it's a problem with them. They think it's something that you did wrong. They think that you could have approached it differently, which sure, in some cases maybe, but for the majority of cases, it has nothing to do with you. And everybody thinks that it's all on them. But what I want you to understand is that you have no idea what's going on in somebody else's life. So there's been times where I've door knocked, and this is actually a pretty crazy story. I door knocked somebody that ended up becoming a listing that I sold. When I door knocked them, they were upset, they were angry, they actually did slam the door on me, but they remembered my name. A couple weeks later, they actually ended up finding me online, reaching out, saying, "Hey Mike, you came to the door the other week and I just wanted to apologize for what happened. That day I actually lost my job." So in reality, in the majority of cases, you have no idea what's going on in somebody's life. If somebody hangs up the phone, is angry, or slams the door on you, you have no idea if they lost their job, if they just got a divorce, if they lost a spouse, if somebody passed away, if they are just in general in life unhappy because of certain circumstances, or they're just miserable people that you wouldn't want to work with anyway. It has nothing to do with you. Of course, if you decide to be negative and approach it in a terrible way, it has something to do with you. But almost every single time, it is something that's going on in their life, whether it be in the moment, momentary that just happened that day, or it's just how they operate, but you can't take it personally because it does have nothing to do with you. Now, the bigger problem is that most people expect rejection because they are not confident in their skill sets. Let me explain something. There's fear and there's faith. And this is something that my sponsor, Connor Steinbrook, that's my business partner at eXp, talks a lot about with our group because he's basically the best I've ever met about personal development mindset and understanding how to reframe things in order to help agents operate at a higher level. But when you look at this, when you're doing anything in life, you've got fear, you've got faith, and then risk is down the middle in terms of a sliding scale. So first, let me give you a scenario that has nothing to do with real estate, but it's going to drive the point home. Then I'm going to relate it to prospecting or getting rejected in real estate in general. So this is the example that Connor uses all the time. Let's say that you're standing on the top of a cliff, maybe 60 feet high, and there's water below it. You've got two different options, jump or don't jump. Now, the majority of people, if they're up there alone, are not going to jump if you didn't scout the water out beforehand. And the reason being is because you have no idea if the water is shallow, if there's sharks down there, if there's something dangerous that can harm you. You have no idea. So you've got a lack of knowledge, which in turn increases the risk, which makes you more fearful. So let's say 5 minutes later, after you sitting up there contemplating whether to jump or not to jump, if you're gonna have a great day or if it's gonna be your last day, a bunch of kids run up and they say, "Hey Mike, we've been jumping off here for years." And all these kids start jumping off this 60-foot cliff, having a ton of fun, laughing, smiling, yelling, doing all kinds of backflips and stuff. What's going to happen to you? You're probably going to jump. And the reason why you're going to jump is because you now have the knowledge that it's safe. And because you have this knowledge that it's safe, the risk is reduced, the fear is reduced, the faith is increased. And now that you're faithful that everything's going to work out and it's going to go as planned, the risk is so low that you're going to do it. Well, let me explain what happens with door knocking or cold calling or rejection of any form in real estate. We'll use door knocking as an example. If you are not confident in your skill sets of communication and your ability to handle objections and your confidence to deliver a message in terms of conversion, what's going to happen is your lack of knowledge in terms of studying scripts and the confidence of how to handle people that come at you with different objections, that lack of knowledge increases risk, increases fear, reduces faith to the point where you either don't do it or you quit too soon. Whereas if you study it religiously, you practice it every day, you role play it all the time, and you're basically to the point where I was, where you're not only confident in what you're saying, but you're also inherently confident that if somebody's looking to buy or sell, that you are the best person for the job. When you have that confidence, you have the knowledge to apply to any situation, which increases your confidence, decreases the risk, increases the faith. So the reason why I had no problem door knocking and getting rejected here and there is because I knew that I basically had it dialed to the point where if my script and my approach didn't work out, then there was no way it was ever going to work out with that one individual. On to the next one. And because I repeatedly did that, then I started actually getting clients and converting because of the confidence and the faith I had in what I was doing, to the point that that instilled more confidence to keep doing it even more and more. So when you're looking at this, you have to start looking at these two main things in terms of handling fears of getting rejected. Is number one, it has nothing to do with you. Again, there's going to be certain cases where, to be completely honest, I've seen some scripts that are pretty atrocious and pretty bullish and very forward that I would personally never use. A lot of the ones that are online, just not my style. I like to come across more neutral and value driven instead of solicity. But I'm not going to call out those scripts. But in general, number one, it has nothing to do with you. You have no idea what's going on with some of these people's lives. And number two, the part that actually does have something to do with you is that you need to work on your knowledge and your skill sets. Because as we talked about, if you increase your knowledge, you will decrease the risk, decrease the fear, increase the faith. And when you have faith, you execute. So what we want to make sure is that you practice, you get the repetitions in, you develop the skill set, continue to improve over time. So now you've got the faith that is going to work out to the point where you take more action. So hopefully that makes sense to you and gives you a different perspective as to how to handle some of these rejections and objections from people. And don't take it personally, but understand that there still is some stuff that you can work on yourself. So if you have any other questions about prospecting or anything, just drop a comment below. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.